you hear us?
Okay, I'm recording today for January 7th. Critical thinking, decision making, week 2. Chat, yes, you can see it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that. Don't think you can hear us. No. Okay. Now let's see if I can hear you. Somebody has to talk. We are talking now. Oh, yeah, now I can. You know, I turn my volume off every day because one day I will figure out, maybe anybody who's technically savvy can figure out this issue. I have a Dell computer laptop, and I can close out all my windows and restart my computer and walk away for 5, 20 minutes, even get in the car and drive away. And if somebody is here in the house, my computer starts showing a video. I have no reason, you know, I don't think it's a miracle. I think it's something I'm doing. But it's kind of spooky because it has happened in the middle of the night, and it's weird, but okay. So that's why I turned off my volume. And I need to make a mental note of doing it. So any questions about anything with the picture perfect, getting points, the attendance, your numbers? I will give your numbers in a few minutes. I could do it right now. Because I renumbered them, not renumbered them, but given numbers.
So just to go over this again, we're only supposed to do the quizzes, not the assignments for MindTap.
Exactly. I'm glad you asked that question because that's really good now that MindTap is working. Course key. So I finally sent screenshots to show, hey, I'm accessing it, but I get nowhere. So yes, I will give you credit as long as you are people have been posting excellent information, quotes. I don't know about experiences in the picture perfect. That and the attendance record gets you 100 points for attendance, 50 points for picture perfect, 50 points for the attendance, just putting in your attendance. Then you got 100% there. Then you are going to get 100% on the 2 mind taps that you do not do. You only do what is labeled the quiz. I believe is 10 points. What happened? You should at least start the quiz. If you get an 8.25 or 3.95, whatever you get on the quiz, you got the picture perfect. If you put in an attendance record, perfect. I mean, great. You'll get 100% on every of the mind taps, all 3 of them. If you did not do the attendance, if you were not here and not listen to a recording, at least for the first hour. You don't have to listen for the 3 hours. But if you have not done that, have not accessed a recording, or accessed my PowerPoints and didn't turn in any log, then you will not get 100% in the mind taps, all 3 of them. You will get, if you did the quiz, you get record for the quiz, okay? So this is how it works. You need to do picture perfect well. You need to be at an attendance, put the log in, do it well. You need to listen to a recording if you're absent. Then you get 100 in the whole week, okay? When do you get the 100%? On Monday, or if I get swamped with Monday, then Tuesday at the very latest. I won't go past Tuesday. So it'll probably be Monday that you get your 100% for the entire week. Does that work with anybody? Any more questions?
Yeah, that's fine. If I already started an assignment in MindTap, just because I didn't know if we were supposed to do it, do you prefer us to finish it or just leave it?
You know, if you finish it, will you learn? Yes. So take the opportunity if you want. Do you get 100% if you did everything else? Yes. So it's up to you. This course the way I teach courses that are not medically life and death, or something like a course, a capstone course at the end, is that you're in charge of your education. I'm just here facilitating your learning. I'm hoping that after the 16 weeks we spend together, I think it's like 3 days, or 24 times 16 is a day and a half, that you are making the best choices that you ever have in your entire lifetime, that you learn how to do that. You learn to analyze, evaluate everybody else's decisions, and you're very satisfied. So it's only to enhance what you want to do. If you do it, fine. If you feel like this is something you want to learn more about, go ahead. If you don't do it, I'm believing in my heart that you have children, you have another 1 or 2 jobs, you have a full life, that you're not just sloughing around playing, wasting your time in any form. Okay, yeah, go.
I'm sorry. I can't access my emails, so I'm unable to get my number. Are you able to just give me my number? This is Andy.
Yeah. Andy?
I just posted all of them in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Andy, you're on, let's see, which course is this? This is 9. You're number 9 in one course, and in the other course, you're 8 in decision making. No, in this course, in decision making, you are 8. In whatchamajigga, in the multicultural, you're 9. Okay. Anybody else want theirs?
So in multicultural, I've been putting 7. I thought my number was 7.
Are you Karen?
No, I'm Andy.
You're Andy. Okay. Hey. Well then, then why do I have it? Oh, I have Danielle as that. I wonder if, you know why? Guess because they added somebody. All right, never mind. Go ahead, put your number. I will give you credit. Okay?
Okay, so I'm 8 in this class and 7 in the other one, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and you see if I could show you my paper. See, I have it here. But I didn't label. This is a very poor decision. Don't make these decisions. I didn't label up here the number of the class. That's what I need to do. I just printed them out. My definite rushing too much on Monday. All right.
I don't see my name.
Yeah, your name went way up on top. See, way up here. You're there. You're AKINYEMI-Porter. I don't know how to say your first name or that other last name. You know how to say Porter. So
Okay.
what is it Faye?
Faye Shayo. Or you could just call me Faye.
Faye. I like Faye Shayo. Faye Shayo.
Faye Shayo. Yeah.
Faye Shayo. That's very pretty.
Thank you.
What does it mean?
So what number am I?
Well, you're number 1.
It means thank God.
Or 0. No, you're 1A. Name 1A. Because I got somebody
1A?
else says Eric Andrews is 1. So you're 1A?
1A, okay.
Yeah. And where does that name come from?
African.
Okay.
Nigerian.
Nigeria? Very pretty.
Yeah.
Does it mean something?
Yeah, it means thank God. My mom had a hard labor with me, so she made it through.
No. She had a hardly?
Hard labor.
Oh, a hard labor. Oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
So she named you what? What does it mean?
It means thank God she made it. Thank God I made it.
Thank God you made it as your name? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I like that. TGIM. Instead of TGIF. This is good. I hope we're studying Africa this week, so you should put that in. It's like people, how different cultures name people. That's good. Okay. Okay, so I can digress. You guys just shut me off when I start talking too much, like you just did, so that's really good. This here is what we need to do. You're going to download each week for these 2 slides are just in case we go live. I heard there might be there's some talk, only a little bit of talk about going live, going on ground in April. It's going to be through. And this slide is not needed either. Okay. So here we go. One of the things that you need to have for when you make decisions is confidence. And this here is an article on how to, yes?
Sorry, Faye, can you mute yourself because there's a lot of background and we can't hear the professor.
Okay, that's good. Here's what I can do. I can mute all. There we go. All right. I'm sorry about that. I just talk over it. I've been so used to distractions. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I drink it the same color as my shirt, a lot of milk. All right, so if you need to build up confidence, on the break, I'm going to be playing this confidence thing. YouTube is really good. And the confidence YouTubes were made before COVID. And you can tell the difference between confidence for any YouTube made before and after. It's kind of a cultural thing. We're changing our culture pretty rapidly. Okay. And this is also for on ground. So here we go. General critical thinking, and that's not week 1. All right, I like to add jokes, and the word critical comes from the word critic, which means make sense and analyze a question. And here are some. Calvin Klein, I suppose everything will make sense when I grow out. And this is, I like Calvin Klein comics. I like any comic strip. So if anybody wants to turn in some comic in the picture perfect, that would be okay. In this one, he's making a decision and is showing different perspectives. So my side of the woods is a natural, scenic splendor, and he's looking out into the world. Your side is full of decay and fill. My territory is infinitely superior to yours. And so he says, he turns it around and says, your side is smaller. So what he does is goes into the different perspective. And that's just meaning we shouldn't be judging. And I think one of the great things about, we can talk about 2020 is that more people than ever have learned that we can't make judgments anymore until we live. We're not even when we live in their moccasins, because they've had different experiences. So questions I don't know to the answers need to be asked. And that's true too. So if you don't have any answers, let's ask the questions, right? And this signals that it's a mind tap question right here, okay? When I say important. So I like to signal, I don't signal in my multicultural class, but I signal what we are covering in the 2 mind tap activities. I went through them when I made this PowerPoint so that you did not have to go through them. So all of the following are cognitive abilities and attitudes characterizing a critical thinker. So they think actively. What does that mean? That means we're thinking, we're conscious. We're thinking all the time, well, most of the time. We discuss the ideas in an organized fashion. And here, as you see, I have numbers. We could have bullet points. I am one to jump around, and a critical thinker does not jump around. So one of my resolutions every year is to improve being more organized. And you have 5 happy hormones. The more organized you are, the more the happy hormones come out. And I will repeat this probably a million times, so it's going to be in your head. Dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and oxytocin are the hormones that run through your body that it's kind of like when you put lotion on a dry hand. It just soothes your attitude, and it doesn't give you the stress hormone of cortisol. Do you need the stress cortisone hormone? Yes, a couple of times, like for flight. But right now, when you're organized, it puts out those serotonin and dopamine hormones. So yeah, the other one is a critical thinker will view different perspectives. The media, I'm using that as example, does not view everything from a different perspective. I think media should really do that, but you need to really look at all the different perspectives and everything that is happening in the world, and especially in healthcare. If you have a patient that is coming in and is holding their stomach but saying they're well, and you wonder why they're saying that, you kind of will feel out maybe they're there because they know they're sick, but maybe they're scared and they don't want to really find it out. So when you're in healthcare, different perspectives really come into play. Maybe you need to look at their environment, which is a different perspective, or their occupation. All that comes into play. And the willingness to engage in conversation. Another one that I need to work on is engaging in conversations. You can see sometimes I rattle because I get stressed, but I really am more of a listener than engaging in conversation. I don't have to put my perspectives out there. I'd rather see the other perspectives. But I need to also engage in more conversations, and I hope you do too. Usually I'm the only one talking, and it's kind of, anyway, so when you hear me rattle like I'm doing now, just cut in and say, hey, Whiting, Holly, rattling. Okay, let's go down to the next one. All right, so this is important and you need to take notes. Why? Because this was in Mind Tap. So when this was in class, that's why I have to take notes, but just so that you knew that. Can you define critical thinking and logic? Can you learn about this is what you're going to do. You're going to learn about the characteristics, which we talked about. We're going to distinguish between giving an opinion and engaging in critical thinking. We're going to explain the benefits of good critical thinking. We're going to relate critical thinking to personal development and our role as citizens in democracy. And we're going to identify people who exemplify critical thinking in action. And we're going to identify barriers to critical thinking, including types of resistance and narrow-mindedness. We're going to try to get all through this within the hour or within the 3 hours, whatever comes first. But this is really good, organizing a critical thinker. So thinking independently. Okay, this is another thing that is pretty important. What questions you should ask and where to find the answer. You should ask authorities, references, factual evidence, and personal experience if you're going to interview somebody. So you're going to ask, is this person an authority on what they're saying? What are their references? What are their data? What is the factual evidence here? Is it real? Is it true? Is it sound? Was it manipulated? And a personal experience. Right now, basically, I'm believing from my personal experience. I'm not trusting the world as much as I used to, which is, I don't know if that means I'm a more critical thinker. Anyway, so in a discussion, what I'm going to ask you this, so just think about it. If you put it in chat, excellent. If you don't put it in chat, okay, but should prayers be permitted at graduation ceremony at Brookline? Should a prayers be at graduation from Brookline? It's not a religious college. Okay. I'm not answering that. Okay. Oh, somebody might have. We got some chat coming here. No. Okay. So that is good because there's other people's religions. Could you have everybody's religion represented? It would take graduation a longer time. Should students be required to pass tests to get to the next grade level in every grade? So I know in Illinois, it was grade 10, you had to pass a test in order to go to be a junior in high school. You have, I believe here I don't know if Arizona has what they call their test in grade schools, but should there be a test for everybody for grade schools pass? Okay, everybody learns differently, okay? That's good, that's a good thing. Everybody does learn differently. And how do you know if they're learning? Should there be a exam, and you're going to get one when you do go for your nursing license. And I had to do one for my medical technology license. But should there be something like the boards before you get a degree?
I don't think so, because I think or taking a test, anybody can take a test.
Okay, that is good. That anybody can. And somebody just said in the chat that high schools have an exit exam. So then how do you know what they know? Should there be some kind of...
I think the issue is with a lot of my personal opinion is that there's a lot of people that believe that a test can determine a person's critical thinking and how they can handle real stressful situations. For example, like nursing. I've seen nurses who are really excellent, but then I've seen nurses that I would question their capabilities.
Ability to nurse.
Correct.
And to be sympathetic and to take care of the patient and reducing the patient's stress. I agree.
Correct.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't necessarily believe in an exam to prove somebody's intelligence.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. I got these questions from MindTap. So these are questions within MindTap and your book. And that's all good. Should there be stricter regulations for content on the internet? Should there be, like yesterday there was, what do you call it when you block people? They take them down. Okay, I got chat again. Let's see. Yes, somebody says yes. Yes. So what would be it? Would it be, what would be no is freedom of speech? Yeah, so there's both sides represented here. What would be the criteria? Yeah. In my day and age, way back in I graduated from high school in 71. So the 60s, swear words were not allowed anywhere. And now they're like normal conversation. Okay, the next one is very outdated. So you can see how old your textbook is and how I don't believe in, MindTap. But should lifelong smokers be allowed to sue cigarette manufacturers? Agreed.
Disagree.
Disagree? Okay.
It's a choice for them to smoke, so I don't think they should be able to sue a cigarette manufacturer because they chose to continue smoking and got sick.
Yeah. I could have sued as a widow for my husband dying of smoking lung cancer, or my mom losing her legs due to smoking, not due to diabetes. She had no diabetes. And that was their choice. But is it your choice if they have an addicting substance in it? I could have been a millionaire if I sued everything. Got a lot of bandwagon lawsuits that came my way just because they knew what happened. But what about the addicting substance? They have that warning, right? So, okay, evaluate. So now this one is locate a website fashion and evaluate carefully and critically. I think websites are now becoming more aware of body shaming, and they're not doing that as much as they used to. But that is that one. So we'll go on. That was good. Good. Thank you for all of the discussions. Okay, what is critical thinking again? It's a discernment, meaning that you can analyze and categorize and know the difference between two things and know the similarity. It is the ability to judge or decision making. And with that ability to judge, if you're critically thinking, do you need to judge? Or can you decide not to judge is actually judging? Okay. And critical thinking requires learning how to think rather than simply what to think. When somebody is telling you, well, this is what you need to think, they're not teaching you critical thinking, they're just having you follow them. So it requires good analytical skills and logic. Critical thinking provides us with the tools to identify and resolve issues in our life. And we're going to look more in depth about those tools. Critical thinking is not simply a matter of asserting our opinions or issues, and is showing all sides. I call it 360 sides. Opinions are based on personal feelings or beliefs rather than reason and evidence. And is your reasoning, I'm questioning this, is reasoning sometime based on personal opinions of others and you in order to believe what you want to believe? So I copied this from the book, and I think it should just be evidence. And I'm not sure your reasoning. As critical thinking, you need to be willing to provide local support for your beliefs. And that local support, logical, is evidence. And uninformed opinions is like antibiotics kill bacteria and have no effectiveness on COVID is what this should be. Okay. I think you all will agree on that. All right. Critical thinking is a multiple ways of multiple approaches to understanding how you make sense of the world. It is also developed, knowledgeable, and it's an understanding of a complex world, the thoughtful perspective or important ideas and timely issues, and a sophisticated thinking and language abilities. Language is, in our last class, if you were there yesterday, we were talking about language and how your language will assume an opinion or just the way you say something, your tone. People have to critically think if they, what they mean just by a tone. So here is the best way to expand critical thinking and compensate for bias that we all have, and this is a test question down here, bias that we all have is to have open viewpoints of others and willing to listen and exchange ideas with them. The process of a give and take in advancing our views, considering those of others, is known as a discussion. So what is a discussion? Is getting the views of others and taking that into consideration. In an effective discussion, our main purpose is to, one, gather information, and two, seek understanding. So we only have, actually, out of what is a discussion, two things: gather information and seek understanding. It doesn't here put, say, your opinion, persuade somebody for your opinion. And in yesterday's, I'll probably go back and forth from yesterday, from multicultural education to this one, because they're similar in some of the things that we need to talk about. And in persuasion, I think it's a good idea for everybody who needs to be a critical thinking, a good decision maker, is to learn how to persuade and what persuasion is. Not that you should be persuading everybody to your ideas, but once you learn all about persuasion, you can see when somebody is trying to, or analyze, be a critical thinker when somebody is using persuasion techniques on you, or you need to use them on somebody. I don't. Okay, so this one, what do you see? You see 4 or do you see 3? You can see 3. I've looked at this so many times. I see 4. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Other people see it through this way, right?
Yeah, I think it's how you look at it, right?
Yep, it is. We're gonna put out, if you see any of those, put those up in the, we're gonna do one whole week on perspective, so we'll put them up then. I like seeing these because it makes me think, and I think it's kind of funny, like, well, yeah. All right, learning for a complex world. A critical thinker is someone who has developed knowledge and understanding of our complex world. So I just like this drawing as a mind map and what I question. So if you want to look at this, it's, you know, a well-being. I just like this. It was done by some child on the internet. And I like it. I think it's kind of cool. So it's fun. Having a positive attitude is a good idea. It's critical thinking. Okay, a test question. Oh, that's a test question. I'm sorry, I didn't announce that. A critical thinking is someone who developed knowledgeable understanding of our complex world. See how many times MindTap is going to ask the same question in different ways. Here it is again. Critical thinking takes place in social context or in your own thoughts. Where else would it be if you're not in a social context and you're not in your own thoughts? I think you're sleeping. Okay. One day, if you see me or whatever, I'll tell you about flamingos, but I'm not going to do it now because I'll be digressing. But I do like flamingos. So social contact. Discuss ideas in an organized way. So you notice that they put bullet points. When we participate in a discussion, I'm not saying that right, we are exchanging and exploring ideas in an organized way. So what is a discussion process? Listen carefully first. That's the main thing. First, listen. Support the views with reason and evidence. So support your views with reason and evidence. Respond to the points being made. So if somebody is not, when you're listening, not supporting them with reason or evidence, you need to look at that. If they're just going on opinions, then look to see if you can find them. And respond to each of the points that they made first before you respond. Also ask questions. If you don't understand things, ask questions first, okay? So everything is, when you're in a discussion, is most important for you, and I'm just basing this more on my opinion and reasoning that I'm not having right now. I don't have the research to back me up, but it's more important for you to understand where another person is coming from and be the second to respond. Many people, I should say many, some people like to be the first one to be said. They like to they like to interrupt. They like to first put out their opinions. it is better if you let them do that. It doesn't make you any less of a person, less confident, whatever. What it helps you to do is actually become a better critical thinker. You're listening to why they are saying it while you have all your information in the head, your evidence, your stuff. And you can say, wow, now they said this point, but I have evidence over here. There you go. So it'll increase your understanding of the world. So this here, okay, this here is another, what do you see, 6 or 9? Those two work guys, this is another test question. For most important problems, many viewpoints are simply adequate to provide a full and satisfactory understanding. Okay, so what I not like about this mind tap question, which can be confusing, what does many mean? Is many 2? Is many 3? Is many 20? Is many 100? This, is pretty vague for me, I would say. And so I like it though. Get as many as you need. Just don't get one. So I think it should say more than one. Because maybe 2 is adequate. I don't know. So there you go. There's that one. All right. Now here's another test question. When people engage in effective dialogue, they listen carefully to the other person first and then make their own point. Okay. I'm saying it again. Okay. Well, you do not always have to make your point. You can be humble. There's a lot of times when I will just I have a group of friends and we have many different sides. And sometimes I don't need to have my viewpoint even known. I'm okay with whatever they say. I don't agree with them. But then I'm thinking, I don't need to put my perspective on them. It might hurt them. And why do I, or hurt them in a way like I'm saying you're wrong? I don't need to say, hey. So you can be humble. And this is the question. You can be humble is what I added. This is the question right up here. Okay, one indication of having a thought through your ideas is being able to explain why you believe them, especially to a toddler. So I like that. And I like all these pictures. I wish I had pictures of every one of you when you were a toddler or your kids, because I think that would, or your children, I'm sorry about that word. It would just be fun to show them on here. So if you want to explain your ideas, pretend you have a toddler in the room and you're trying to explain it to them, or a 4 or 5-year-old, or maybe a middle school child will work. Where do I get all these questions? Because I have 79 slides. Is my Mind Tap bank of questions as an instructor is 70. I believe you only get 50, but they have 70 questions. So each person, when you take the Mind Tap, you're getting, it doesn't say, oh, so-and-so is taking it. It just randomly chooses and it's a different order. So that's where I'm getting it. And I've talked a little bit, so now I'm going to take a sip of water. And I can't get my straw down to the bottom because I got too much ice. All righty, let's go to the next one, which is another question. Thinking critically is thinking about what you are thinking so you can clarify and improve, right? So I put in, see how I love this picture I found on the internet? See how glasses clarify is giving you another perspective? That was pretty cute. Sorry, I sound like I'm patting myself on the back. I'm just showing you I have fun and I want you to see what I see. I'm sorry. So here we go. Candle to the new type of light bulb. I haven't seen a light bulb like this. So I kind of wonder, maybe any of you have, if it's in the right order. I don't know. Is that like a solar panel right there in the light bulb? Trying to figure out what that is. This is an LED, right? So that's LED. Somebody might have an answer to that.
They're both LED light bulbs. My dad's an electrician.
Oh, okay. So here,
Yeah, it's just a new and improved LED light bulb.
thank you for that. See here.
Unfortunately, we have them all over my house.
Oh, that is so fortunate. See, that's really good. And so here, I'm thinking that this has a solar panel in it. I'm thinking, well, if you have it in your house. So I'm so glad of your answer. That's my thinking. Because it looks like a solar panel right here. So very good. Yeah. Well,
do something with the temperature of the light bulb, and I can't remember. He explained it, but I was half listening.
Okay, well, that's interesting too. So this is a temperature. So if this gets too hot, it turns off. I remember this was back in, so it was the summer of 70. The summer of 70, I had a lamp, and I had this type of light bulb with a shade over it, lamp shade over it, and I was tired, so I put accidentally or through my shirt, and it went over the lamp, and I left it on, and it burnt a hole in it. It could have started a fire. So I was taught a nice lesson in 1970. But anyway, again, I digress. But thank you for your thinking on that. I like it. All right. Okay, another mind tap question. When you let events control or permit others to do your thinking, you are said to react passively. So what I decided to do is relate this to healthcare, reacting passively. And you don't want anybody controlling your thoughts. If you choose not to say your opinion or your thoughts, doesn't mean you're reacting passively. It just means, well, you're not telling them. So I guess you are being argumentative. So passive tumor. So you have tumor cells here, and you have a drug that is non-particle, a PEG. And in this one, you have the particle can get inside the tumor cell to destroy it. Is that what I'm seeing here? Okay. I took this off the internet. So this is there's a break. Let's see is that right? This is passive tumor targeting. They can't get inside the cancer cell, but in here they can. All right. Does that make sense? I'm hoping. Okay, so radiation and chemotherapy. What is passive and what is active? Okay, the new mRNA that they have for the vaccine or they have for some cancer treatment actually gets inside the cell and can get inside and goes to the ribosome. That one I know, because that's what I study. All right, well, let's go to this one. See, all of them are going to be practically test questions. Being open to new ideas and different points of view mean you're flexible. And being flexible is a good thing. And it opens your mind to a lot more information and a new way of doing and understanding things. And it's kind of fun. And it's enough to modify your ideas in the light of new information, and you get better insights. So you can be more intuitive, more innovating when you're flexible. And is there a time when you cannot be flexible? Definitely. Especially you'll see in discipline with your children, there's times when you can be flexible and there's times when you can't. There's times when you're nursing, you can be a little bit flexible if they want to, delay some of the pain medicine they're having. But you can't be flexible if they want to increase it to every hour. So, you need to be creative, receptive, and intelligent. Have better insights and be flexible. All right. Trying to understand the other point of another test question. Understand the point of others and making them and making and reasoning. It enables you to imagine yourself in their position and see things as they see them. This is an important part of being an effective discussion. So this is where these two underlining things were in the mind tap discussion. So you listen carefully, you ask questions, and then you increase your understanding, your side, their side, and the truth. How can you do this if you don't have anybody with you and you want to critically think about a situation that you were in? Maybe at night you might do this. How can you do this when you're by yourself? Does anybody have an idea of that? Some people, you will experience people that are in a life or death situation themselves, and they live, and then they have what is called okay, people have written books on people that have had this type of thing. And what I'm trying to explain is that you don't have to be near death or have been pronounced dead and have one of these. What is it? What is
An
it?
epiphany.
An epiphany is good. Yes, that's not the word I was looking for, but I like it. I'm being flexible.
An outer body experience.
Yep, 3 words. Yeah. So you can stimulate your own out of body experience. How do you do that? At night, you might reflect and you take a look at yourself in the situation, and you pretend you're taking a movie of it and you're replaying the movie, but you're not replaying it from your eyes, you're replaying it from a camera's eyes, from both people. Or you could do the out of body, not out of body, but the other person. You can look at it and look at how they're viewing you. And that will really help you understand the other person's part of viewpoint, and it enables you to understand your viewpoint that maybe you won't. It's very enlightening. And the more you do it, the more you can do it. It's a skill, and it makes you more flexible, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. And do I believe the people that have had out-of-body experiences? I've never been that close to death, but I've had what I think is some. My mom had some, and I've read books on them. So it's interesting, and there's a couple of ones that have been made by healthcare workers. So if you're in the emergency room and you write it down, it's pretty interesting, isn't it? Have you ever experienced it with somebody else having it in healthcare? Nobody in chat. So okay. I hope you do. It's quite an experience if you are in the room and somebody else has it, and it's an amazing feeling. And I hope every one of you can do that with yourself. And if you're in a situation where it happens, that you get to feel it. All right. So again, this is another mind tap question. As a critical thinker, when some questions why you see an issue the way you do, somebody questions that, why are you seeing it this way? Instead of arguing your position, you should attempt to identify the reasons that support your position as well as the others, okay? So that's what we've been talking about for almost this whole time, is that you first need to hear what they're saying. If they are supporting evidence and giving you some facts and their opinion, see what supports them. Have your mind work like that. And then if they asking you, you just said your opinion, identify the reasons that support your position. So this is a good organization to critical thinking. And this is also a skill to have. So I'm hoping that this week you'll look at that and maybe you'll be more aware and start developing the skill if you don't have it, or just enhance, because I believe everybody has had it, just enhance your skills. So if you're combining ideas to form a whole new or come to a new conclusion, you may need to draw the conclusion in a questions of synthesis. Okay, this is the word. As you see, I highlight the words that I believe are important in the sentence. So synthesis, what is synthesizing? I can't say that really good. It is a cooperation of a catalyst and an enzyme, usually in the body. It's our step process for synthesizing a ketone from an aldehyde, and it's the exploration of novel synthesis process for medications. So this is how they come up with new medications. Here they split an aldehyde, or they add an aldehyde with a benzyl, and then they have a ketone. And we do that we have a lot of ketones in our body, especially when we don't eat really well. We're on a diet where we have just produce a lot of ketones. We're breaking down our proteins. You see an image and then you synthesize it and you put it into that one. I did that because I had somebody that liked Mustangs. I think this is, or is this not a Mustang? This is a GTO, whatever, the GTO. What is this car? Anyway, you just take something and you invent something new. And like that one that I thought was that light bulb that I thought had the solar panel inside. Maybe somebody should invent a light bulb that has a solar panel inside. Could be something new. All right, now we're going on the Socratic method. I really like the Socratic method and I don't do it as well as I should. I'm going to take another sip of water and talking. Oh, instead of taking a sip of water, how about we stop right here and take a break? Does that sound good? At least a chat or somebody coming live.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, so how about 13 minutes? 11:10 works? Works. Need another? Sounds fine. Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, there we go. I am going to go off camera because I'm going to drink a lot of water and maybe add some coffee into it. So we'll see you at 11:10. Okay, we are resuming recording after a short little break, and everybody just had a wonderful time. And this will even be better. We're going to go back in time about 4,000 years. Look at what we have to wear. Can you imagine a fashion show of this wearing these outfits? Kind of strange. I am so glad that I live today and not in the past, because just throwing a blanket or whatever that is around and hooking it, with my luck, it would always fall down. Anyway, so we're going to go look into the Socratic method. Socrates, as you know, he was, or maybe you don't know, he was supposedly one of the greatest teachers to ever live. So great that the parents of who he was educating, I believe they were all teenagers or maybe young adults. I don't know the specific age because there wasn't a written word back then. At least I didn't think there is a written word. I could be proven wrong on that. But anyway, it is the story that the parents made him drink poison in front of all of them because they were so upset about the way he taught. The way he taught was to ask everybody a question. So if you said to me, this baby is eating food, and I would say, or you would say, why is this baby eating food? And I would ask back, I wouldn't answer it. I would say, why do you think that baby has a spoon in its mouth? What are your reasonings? So he asked that way instead of me just telling you. And a lot of these questions, I am just telling you with these slides, I'm spoon feeding you the answers, especially this one here. spoon-fed knowledge. So the Socratic method is the method of teaching your children, and I hope you all do this with your own children, is ask them questions back. It is said that a 4-year-old will ask, I read this, I think today or yesterday, 469 questions per day. Who counted that? Did they have a little clicker in their hand or a parent going, oh, you asked it again, you asked it again? So instead of giving your child the answer, ask the question back. Why is the moon up in the sky? Ask them, why is the moon up in the sky? See what they say. So in order to bring their students to a point of knowledge with explicit imparting that knowledge without telling you is called dialectical questions. And that's why I'm not really saying that word, dialectical questioning. The students will find their knowledge on their own. And hands-on experience for me is the way I learn the best. When I learn with hands-on, I'm usually happier. I may be frustrated, but I will learn more. If somebody gives it to me, especially as you progress in life, as me, you get a little bit older, it goes in one ear and out the other. Have you ever been around your children and goes in one and out the other? Yeah, so by asking a question, you are not allowing that to happen. So by teaching this way, teachers are modeling the appropriate critical thinking skills, and you're not spoon feeding. So how can you relate this to healthcare? So a patient is telling you those symptoms, and before you either, I know you're not supposed to be, quote, diagnosing the patients, but I'm sure nurses know more than doctors. So you would ask the patient, well, I feel my stomach is aching. Instead of you saying, it's aching because of this, this, and this, say, why do you think it's aching? No, it's aching because of, the way I ate. Well, what food did you eat? All that. Keep going. I put in the announcements, the 5 whys. When you're having trouble understanding anything in life, ask yourself the questions of 5 why. One question would be, I cannot access mind tap. But let's not go with that one. That one gives me stress. How about this one? This is so simple. Why is my shoe untied? Well, because I didn't tie it tight enough. I did tie it tight enough, but it came loose. I didn't put the loops under the other shoelaces. Well, I did do that. Why are they still becoming untied? I could ask it for 5 whys, and then I find out it's because they have a plastic coating that makes them slippery. So 5 whys of why somebody's stomach is eating is because I ate last night. Well, what did you eat? Well, I had this. Do you eat that every day? No, it's only on holidays. I just eat a lot of fatty foods, something like that. So you just keep asking, you're going to get to the answer. And it usually takes 5 whys. Positive critical thinking benefits. So critical thinking does offer a lot of benefits in life, and it builds your self-esteem. The more you critically think, the more confidence you build. It creates security because you have to find reason and data and to support your opinions. So then that also makes you feel good. Remember, it's going to put out these 5 hormones that I don't have here. It reduces anxiety and stress. So in other words, it produces these 5 hormones, but it also reduces the cortisol. What does cortisol do? It increases your heart rate. Anyway, and it gives you a better health because when you have less anxiety, less stress, you're going to have a better health. It improves your better communication and relationships because you're not jumping to conclusions. It improves your cognition, which means in real life, it does create, axons are what the nerves are connected by. It creates more axons in your nerves, in your brain and in your nerve cells, and it creates more of that foot that looks like this here, or Carol Williams, whatever. it was a brain, but she's stretching the brain, and it saves time. So the more you, in reality, it does save a lot more time when you critically think something, and it has a better approach. So those are just some of the positive critical thinking benefits. And my question to you, if I would be on ground, is just pick one of these. What do you think is the best? For me right now, I would think that improving cognition is the best. Building self-esteem, saving time. I'm into saving time. There you go. All righty. News fake brand healthcare products. This one is supposedly a test question. What is the placebo effect on this, on brand for healthcare products? Carefully explore the situation and with questions. There are hair growth products. Do they really make the hair grow? There's snake oils. What is snake oils? That was like in the 1800s when people used to go around saying, I have this that cures all. And they would sell it. Younger skin, eggs are unhealthy. Now eggs are healthy. Microwave popcorn, they said, causes Alzheimer's. Those are just some news fake brands. You got any others? Any other examples of what can be fake when you hear it? Okay, I will go on. Critical thinking, why is it important? Well, it builds character. We're going to talk more about the characteristics of the skills. And we have 3 levels of thinking. In multicultural education, we got 3 levels of culture. We have beliefs, values, and artifacts. So we're going to go in, we're also going to talk about what barriers are. So we're going after the break, is usually this is what we're going to be doing. So here are a self-evaluation questionnaire, right? So if you can take 3 minutes, it's 11:20. Take a quick, just read through them yourself. I could read them. Let me see. Do you want me to read them, or would you rather read them? Or okay. Somebody says here in chat, thank you. We could read them. I think you could. It gives me a little break. I could take some more water, a little bit more, sip of a liquid of the coffee I have in here. Okay, so I'll let you read them till 11:23.
My screen shows like a huge, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that was the chat. I put the chat up. So that's a good thing. I didn't know if you could see chat or not see chat. So good. I'll take this one. Alrighty. I see it jump to 11:23. Those are good self-evaluating questions, and I bet you they will change. Your answers will change depending on your mood, what you're doing. If you had a good day, if you had a bad day, if you're positive, things happen to you. But if you're a parent, if your kids are grown, yeah. All righty. Let's go into this. So, skills that enhance and reinforce each other. And these are good skills to have. Analytical skills, effective communication, research, inquiry skills, flexibility, tolerance for ambiguity, open-minded skepticism. So what does open-minded skepticism mean? Is that you question everything, even yourself, and you're open-minded to all the different answers. You have the attention span, a good attention span, mindfulness, and curiosities. These are all characteristics of a good thinker, not a good critical thinker. So if you're going to fill out a resume or a cover letter, these are really good things to put in healthcare because they all relate to healthcare. There isn't one here that doesn't. So these are good to put on your resume. Here is the core critical thinking skills, and I believe this is from your mind tab. Analyze, interpret, self-regulating, inferencing, explanation, and evaluation. That's pretty common, okay? Here are more characteristics. We could go on list characteristics of critical thinkers, tons of them. So as a critical thinker, you should have analytical, we just said that, communication, be well-informed, possess good research skills, be flexible, tolerate ambiguity and uncertainty, be able to adopt a position for an open-minded skepticism, be careful, be a creative problem solver. We talk about creativity in week 13, and be attentive, mindful, and intellectually curious and engage in collaborative, cooperative learning. So why do I keep saying this? Because the characteristics, you look at that, and if you rated yourself on a 1 to 5 basis, by the end of the 16 weeks, you should be 5 in all of those. And here is more transferable skills: teamwork, leadership, problem solver, analytical, teaching, logical, innovating, motivating, organization, and team building. So if you don't believe you're a 5 in any one of these, let's start developing those, okay? So, okay. Cognitive development in college students. So you all are college students, whether you're at the age of 15 to 70 or 80, 90. First, you have dualism. There are right and wrong answers, and authorities know the right answer. So that's how you first approach college. Then you transition to the second stage. And this is also when you are young. The second stage is there are some uncertainties and different opinions, but they're only temporary. Okay. Another part of second stage is relativism, when the authorities don't have the absolute right answers and everybody has his or her own opinion, but there are no right or wrong answers. Then the third stage is the last one, and that's when all thinking is contextual and relative, but not equally validated. Commitment: you should not blindly follow or oppose authority. So it doesn't mean that you always follow them or that you always oppose them. You find a happy medium. You need to orientate yourself in an uncertain world and make a decision or a commitment. So that's cognitive. Cognitive means intelligent level. And you can see this maybe if you do that out-of-body experience on yourself from when you were younger, let's say the age of 10 to the age you are now. Here's some discussion questions. I'm not sure if you will answer or not, but what is the ways that you have a supporting network of people who are skilled critical thinker can enhance your ability not to use or to fall for faulty reasoning? So who do you depend on? I depend on my husband type. He's a very good critical thinker. My daughter is a support network. She's really good, and so is my middle son. My oldest son is still okay. So my children are. They're in from 41 to 37. My friends, some of them, even at my age, and one I have one that's she's almost 75, and she made this statement: I am the best open-minded, what do you call it, non-prejudiced person in the world. And I just thought, well, even by saying that, it doesn't make sense. But a discussion a way that you could or serve a critical thinking mentor. Okay, so now you thought about that. Now, can you be a mentor to anybody else in your world? To your kids, your significant other, or your parents, or your children, friends? Can you, and I don't know if this group did the WhatsApp app, the class yesterday, I think did. So if you're in that WhatsApp app, can you be a mentor? I bet you can. I bet you all of you will be wonderful in that. Think of a time when your ability to pursue your goals, the resolutions that you just made, were compromised by ridicule. Have you ever been bullied? Ridicule to me is another name for bullied, even if you believe in it. Can you explain a specific example? For years, I can explain this one. If you ask me how many socks I have on right now, I have 3 pair. Yesterday I had on 4 pair, and one of them was those really fuzzy ones. Well, I would get ridiculed about wearing lots of socks. And I found some, is it pre-med, pro-med research from ASU that said wearing socks helps prevent Raynaud's syndrome, which is lack of circulation in your hands and feet, and they turn kind of blue. So I've been ridiculed for wearing socks, and now I have some evidence. I'm pretty happy with that evidence. I haven't sent it to all my friends yet, that research. But I will. That's the time. Think of a time when your ability to pursue, I read that one. Discuss steps that you take to make yourself less likely to give into faulty reasoning or give up an aspect of your life plan under some circumstances. So this is, when do you not give in to your basic, not just basic needs, but what you want to do in life? I'm not sure on this, but I think some of you who are the older students did give up your goal as being a nurse right out of high school, for not a faulty reason, but for some reason you had. But now you're back, and now you're under your life plan, right? Does that work? Okay, I'm going to move on. Here is definitely a mind tap. As you see, I got tired by this one of copying mind tap questions in different. So I just decided I am going to take them right from mind tap and just copy and paste. So that's what I did. I'm taking that out. Okay, so if you look at the slide, these are the questions, and I give you some of the answers right there. Let's see the slide. You can't see it all. Oh, that's because I made it larger, wasn't it? Okay, so take a look at this. If you want to, it is a mind tap question for what is organized discussions. And here is it even more. And I think I've already made a slide on it. So effective critical thinking skills and healthy self-esteem. So be proactive, gives you effective critical thinking skills, and it also will build your healthy self-esteem. Be aware of your influences. When you become aware of who is influencing, you get to develop, you can say no to them easier or yes to them. Build on positive influences and overcome the negative ones. Be self-directing and entailing making decisions. Thinking actively. See, this is a slide. Coffee is the name, I think it is, the author of the book. When you think actively, you are getting involved, you're taking an initiative and making decisions, you're following through on your commitments, you take responsibility for a consequence. Active thinking is a key to effective learning. I know when, lots of times, even now, but mainly when I was trying to study late at night in college, I wasn't really thinking actively. I was reading, but not learning on the page. You need to get involved. You need to be engaging. Some of you are probably not listening to me right now, so you're not actively thinking about the PowerPoint. You might be actively thinking about something else. Take the initiative in making decisions. Many people will postpone them, try not to, isn't that somebody posted it in the quotes last week, not making a decision is actually making a decision. Follow through on your commitments. If you say so, make sure your word is good and take responsibility of your consequences. Even when you're in not such a good mood, it's based on you. So take responsibility for your moods. All right. A crucial aspect of being an effective critical thinker in the world is asking questions. See, this is another mind tap question. Here's another one. Bloom's categories of questionings seek information that is relatively straightforward and objective. So we're going to go through the levels, right? Yeah, we're going to go through these levels and do the 3 levels of knowledge. And I have different ways of doing it. As you can see, I'm sliding through it. Fact is the first level. That's a question. Then the 3 middle levels are experience, interpretation, and analysis, and you have a resistance. So this slide should be actually down here. So you have to experience something in order to get knowledge. You interpret it and you analyze it. So I could say you can experience seeing a bicycle, but when you experience riding it, you can now say whether it's a good way to use transportation. And then you can look at different bikes. What would be a resistance to it is that stops your learning. Maybe you just don't want to do it. Here is the ways you avoid it. You get angry, you take cliches, you deny, or you're just ignorant. Okay, those are things for you. Yes, and bandits. What is that? I had it spelled wrong. There we go. So anger for me, cliches. You just listen to the cliche. Oh, that is good. You deny. Okay, and then we're going to go into the 6 categories of Bloom's. I'm putting this down here. So I got a lot. I happen to really like Bloom's taxonomy. I'm sure that you've all heard of it, right? You remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So they did the, if you look, these are all words to use. Somebody wrote in chat. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so remembering is the first level, is the bottom rung. Then once I could say, hey, this shape is a bicycle. Once you understand that you can ride it, that's the second level. Applying it means that you can use it to get somewhere. Analyzing, is it the best or should you take a car? Evaluating it, you can look at different. You need 16, 18 gears. And creating it would be creating a 3-wheel bike or something new. What I like about this one is it has all these great words to use under them. And this one, as you see, there's lots of mind tap questions on Bloom taxonomy. There are 1, 2, 6. So the higher levels, there's higher levels. So I'm going to put this slide right up here for right now. So. And you also, oh, we already did that. This is another thing of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so as you see, I really like it. I gave you a lot of different slides on it. You can relate your whole entire life. A critical thinker would be up in these 3, mostly in creativity, which is week 13, 12. All right, which is not one of Bloom's 6 categories of questions. Classifying is inside knowledge. So what they do is they say, once you start to classify, then you're up on the second level of knowledge, understanding. So when you working with your children and you see that they can take something and classify an animal as a dog is having 4 legs, they might say a cat at first is a dog, but at least they're starting to classify, they're getting basic knowledge. That's really good. So there you go, knowledge. Building questions. These are some examples of how, what questions to ask when you're at each one of these levels. So this is a good slide to do if you want to be at the top level. And I'm running into thinking I'm getting too boring. So we're going to go through this. And what I like to do is I'm going to go through all of this. If you want to stay, or if you want to, you've been here with me for an hour and a half, minus 15. But you've been here for an hour and a half. So this, if you want to put 11:45 as the end of the week 2, or your attendance, and log it in today before you leave or before you go away, perfect, okay? That is great. Go ahead and do it. All right.
You said 11:45?
Yeah, I just rounded it off instead of saying 11:41. You could put 11:40. That's perfect with me. You don't have to stay. Because I'm pretty sure you all know Bloom's revised taxonomy. If anybody doesn't, stay with me. It's not, you know, I feel like I'm boring and I don't want to bore anybody. So and I forgot to play a couple of videos. So I will be playing videos after I go through all these slides. And you're not missing anything. Whatever.
So
Yeah.
I was not in this class. I have a question regarding the multicultural class, the assignment that's due. And I was wondering if I could like ask you that, or should I just email you or text you?
You might want to text me on that because I'm not sure. I think I have, what do you see, maybe 4, 5 people that are in both of these classes?
Okay.
I'm not sure, but it's whatever you, and also when you ask a question for me, this is for everybody in both of my classes.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask a question like, when is it due? Or does this apply? If you give me your answer, your perspective, I probably will agree with it. Because I want this to be more of your education than mine. Okay?
Okay.
I'm guiding you, but with those parameters. Okay, So I'm just going to go on and try to see if I can get this to be one of the most interesting things. But if you don't need to stay. So we're on this slide. And you see this is because it has this little picture here of an MRI, I believe. Okay. And this asks 6 questions about each one of these categories. So I should be asking, how would you apply Bloom's? How do you evaluate Bloom's taxonomies if it's a good idea? Where would you synthesize other ideas with it? How do you analyze and compare it? How do you interpret it? So I went backwards through them. This is low order, this is higher order thinking. And you can see your children go through these steps as they progress in age from newborn to, they said through 7 or 8 is your age of reasoning, but you'll see that they will create when they're little and start playing. They're not just reproducing something that has already happened. They may start to create and put 2 things together. It's really, I believe it's fun to see this development in students and especially in children, right? So when you view situations from different perspectives, that's most important for issues and problems. Don't only use one perspective for solving a problem. Add as many as you can and be flexible to modify your ideas. Here it is. It's a mind tap, as we can see. So, and there's these steps of, this is more like the scientific experiment, scientific method. We're going to go into these methods deeper almost in every one of our week discussions. Okay. So what's the problem? What are the alternatives? Find all the different questions, gather up all the data, evaluate the possible, choose one of the data, one of the questions, figure out the solution, and then evaluate how the solution is. That's pretty simple. This is going to be drilled into your head for the next 14 weeks. Okay. Here's another 2 questions that will be drilled into your head. Are we morally required to recycle cans and bottles? Are we morally, is that an authority, personal experience, factual evidence, or reference? Okay. That's a question on the test. The explanation here is, my teacher taught me that recycling will save the planet, and most important thing is we can do to help the environment. So mind tap, you're only supposed to choose one. So if you chose authority because the word teacher is here, that's right. And if you chose factual evidence, there's nothing here that says factual evidence, but it's a personal experience. Maybe you've done it. References, there's no references, but we have references. So I think this is one of the reasons why I'm not having you answer. It's gonna sneeze. Sorry, I held it back. Okay. In terms of nutrition, is fast food worse for me than in home cooked food? Of course, this is an opinion. And what type of evidence is presented in the explanation? I recently read a reference book that summed up hundreds of studies on nutrition and fast food. The book concluded that people who ate a lot of fast food do not die younger than those who eat very little fast food. So you do have references in the explanation. Do you have personal experience? I could say that I'm older. I might have some experience here. Authority? The reference book is an authority. Actual evidence, you'd have to trust the study. So I don't like this question in mind tap, so that's why I'm giving you credit for just listening to me. All right, support different perspectives with reasons and evidence. That sounds to me like common sense. It's not enough to take a position on an issue and make a claim without backing up your views and supporting your information. Have you ever been caught in a argument and not have support? Or have you been caught in an argument where the other person hasn't had the support and you do? Okay. So understanding the importance of a distinct decision, as well as the relationship between what you and why you believe it is good. And I don't know why I have this picture here. I can't even tell what it is. Looks like a lot of stacks of paper. Again, we have another mind tap question. What is the issue? You have to analyze what the issue is here. You have to get down to it and figure out exactly where you're coming from. In this one too. And in this one, and this one. So these are basically mind tap questions. There we go. This is your word bank in mind tap. And it's all these, you need to, this is your vocabulary words. And I believe every one of you know what those vocabulary words are, right? I don't think there's anybody in that. And here is analysis for what you might want to do is judge yourself on each one of these. So that's fine. Here's some thinking strategies. Critically think and actively become a critical thinker. And these are the strategies to follow to become more of a critical thinker. Make critical thinking a priority. Develop a well-reasoned belief to guide your actions. Review that often. Support your beliefs and thoughts with reasons and evidence. Strive to be open-minded and evaluate your thinking output. I said that in the beginning. And here is when it comes to the future, there are three kinds of people. Those who let it happen, those who make it happen, and those who wonder what happened. So analyze how you apply your personal strengths and opportunities to improve and align one of your career paths. So this would be a discussion here. Apply critical thinking and problem solving skills to identify and resolve personal, interpersonal, ethical, and professional concerns, and analyze core beliefs. All righty, here's a test question. It's pretty big here because I enlarged it. Thinking actively is, think of all the people you had known and who had the most influence on the way you think. Should be a hero. Somehow it added a slide. Let's take that slide out. Sorry about that. How has that person affected you? Can you give an example of her influence? And I hope you have more than one person that has influenced you. I have lots of heroes. And if you do have one hero to many heroes, maybe because it's one facet of your life, why don't you tell them? And tell them exactly how they influence. Text them today about that. That'll make you feel good, and it should make the other person. And this is a thing about a person who saved Batman. It's a good article to read. It's right there. And here is one that gives you an active, if you're on ground, I would have you do that. Analyze 2 websites. It's a test question in your book. You have to look at all the different things. And here's some of these ones that you can do. Some more chat. People are just leaving, so that's good. You can go ahead and leave. And working towards goals. This is just an addition. When you work towards a goal, oh, it's on your mind tap books. Yeah. Identify one of your academic goals. What is it important to you, and how do you plan to achieve it? This is in your final assignment. So if you're going to start to fill it out, know that this is in your final, and we're going to be talking about this throughout the weeks. Work towards your goal, and you figure out one of your career goals, write it down, start this as your final assignment. How do you plan to achieve it? And this is also an important personal decision that you have to make. Let's look at it now. Maybe you're buying a house, a car, maybe you're going to take a trip and it's to see family. And right now during COVID is one. Maybe whether it's to take the vaccine or not. Maybe it's to continue on, right now I don't want to finish that sentence. So there you go. Consider becoming a critical thinking is always improving. It's a lifelong process. And you'll be able to make better decisions. Okay, so we're going to start this in, this is new to week 2. In what aspects of your life do you feel you are most creative? We're going to ask this again. Maybe you have one. Maybe it is in healthcare. Maybe it is in making somebody else be comfortable. Maybe it's figuring out their symptoms and what would be good for them. Maybe it's figuring out their home care. Give examples and explain to you why they are creative and in what areas would you like to develop more of a creative approach. And from your own experience, describe a situation in which you use both critical thinking and creative thinking, even if you're unaware. So critical thinking is you're analyzing something, and creative thinking is that you take the step beyond it. If you go back to these questions, is first of all, if you're doing it for a patient and you're thinking about their home care, you're first basing it on facts. Your critical thinking here, being creative, is you're maybe introducing to them and creating a good situation for them. And then you explain why it's all good. And here's a mind map, and here's stop. So with that being said, this is not mind tap, it's just some questions here too, because if you're, I say we end it because I'm getting kind of tired too, and I don't think I'm performing as good as I did in the beginning. So yeah, you either need a break, drink a really high caffeine cup of coffee or a couple of espressos or something. What do you say? Anybody here want to say anything or just say goodbye? Sounds good? Credit for the whole night? Good. Questions? Yeah, Ryan.
I just missed the first portion of the class.
Oh my gosh.
It says that you want us
F. All through code. Yeah. That's fine. You can go through some of it. Okay.
I just wanted some clarification. Like, you want us to submit notes now to you for on like
That
those specific sites?
Yeah, that would be perfect. Then you wouldn't have to listen to the first part unless you wanted to. I really believe critical thinking is something you already know. We went on the characteristics, right? We did some mind tap questions. Do whatever, yeah. As long as you give me some proof that you're working on this class, that'll be good. And you put it into the attendance, okay? Does that answer?
Perfect. Thank you.
No, that is perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have a question? This will be posted probably by tomorrow, if not earlier, okay? There's 7 or 8 people checking out. Yeah, goodbye, thank you, whatever works for me. Good, have a good weekend, you too. We'll see you next week. All right. I am going to stop the recording.